What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, we got a build video on the newest Warframe Dagath, or as grandmother calls her, Dagath. This frame is extremely powerful, and I've already taken her to maximum level steel path in this game. So I'll be going over the build I used for level 10,000 today, showing how her abilities work. This will also be a how to play Dagath guide. And yeah, she can do a lot of damage. You can literally one-shot acolytes with her abilities, and also be getting massive weapon damage buffs too. She's pretty much just a steel path nuker and really powerful. So that'll be the idea of today's video. Nuking down the steel path, being extremely damage heavy and hitting level 10,000. So let's get into it. We're going to review these abilities too. So if you enjoy these types of videos, build videos and all that, I'm going to have a hydroid video out maybe today. I did a lot of work with the Goth today, so we'll see. I definitely have the hydroid video and build all set up, but there's a lot to go over with other stuff in the update too. So before we get into it, make sure you're subbed to the channel. We're going to do more than daily Warframe video uploads at this point. Also check the live stream. We've recorded all of this stuff live on stream, as well as all the build testing. So if you want to go check it out, be my guest. Also, my clan is now open. For some reason, DE delayed cross-platform clans, but if you are MR30 or a subscriber to my Twitch channel, you can join the Warframe clan for the channel. Alright, so let's get into it, starting off with all of her abilities. So, briefly before we go and show how they do, her passive is a mini Arcane Energized kind of. 35% chance that Energy Orb and Health Orbs will become 300% more effective on Dagath. So, mini Arcane Energized stacks with Arcane Energized too. So, she's a very energy-hungry frame, so this is a good passive for her. It's also going to make the mod Equilibrium basically a must-run on this character. Alright, starting off with her first ability, Word Scythes. What this one's going to be is it's going to be a... Think of it kind of like a viral Aqua Blades a little bit. You press the ability button, these viral blades spin around you. They will deal damage. They do not last very long. Even with duration on the build, they last like 1 second. Once the blades are done spinning around, they will launch towards enemies doing viral procs and damage. This ability does synergize with her other skills as well. So yeah, more of a debuffer skill. It also has a massive slow tied to it, which make enemies like pretty much just slugs. So the slow skills with power strength, the damage skills with power strength. With this build, before multi-augmented and Maturite damage or power strength buffs, we're at 87% slow, and it goes to 95% slow. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they nerfed the slow on this. The slow is very annoying when you're fighting Thrax. Makes the ghost Thrax take forever to actually turn to a ghost. So rough on that. But yes, it does also have synergy with her second ability, which is called Doom. It's a debuff on enemies, and we're going to show exactly how that works right here. So we cast the Doom ability. It will basically target enemies in the cone, and they have a little scythe above their head. That scythe will basically hit them with a portion of the damage you have dealt to them since the last scythe hit. So I just shot her, the scythe's going to slice again, and as you can see, the scythe can hit pretty hard when you really start adding these things together. And the synergy between the second ability, Doom, and the first ability, Word Scythes, is that an enemy that is hit by her Scythe Doom ability and hit by the first ability will spread the scythes to nearby enemies. So as you can see, they're all debuffed with the Doom debuff now. And you can, of course, recast it if you want to hit some more enemies with it. And then this will also, let you chain lots and lots of damage, as she has another damage buff we're going to go over as well. So yeah, a very nice way to kill high-level enemies with Dagath. Throw down her 2, throw on her 1 to get everybody debuffed, and then just start, shooting. Once you get over her 4th ability, you'll see you don't even need really guns on this character. But hey, there is also some gun buffs technically as well. So the third ability of Dagath, I don't know what the name of it is, but I know what it does. It's called Grave Spirit. And what this one will do is once you've activated the ability, use the energy cost once, it will stay active until you die. I don't think you can even deactivate this thing. While it's active, you get a crit damage buff, and if you shoot an enemy targeted with your Doom ability, basically if they have a scythe above their head, the critical damage buff is doubled. And this does scale with power strength, and if you are to die while this damage buff is active, you will actually not really die. You'll become like a ghost basically for about 12 seconds, and once you're done being a ghost, the ability will go on cooldown. Now there is an annoying aspect of this. When you are in ghost form, your screen is basically covered in blood, and there's currently an issue where that blood will not go away sometimes. So when we show the level 10,000 gameplay, my entire screen is basically covered in blood, and I can't even see what's going on. But hey, we still did it, and I'm going to still show it to you. So yeah, basically the way this works is just a massive crit damage buff. You don't even need weapons on her once we go over her 4th. But yeah, you could use that. Just always have it active. You can't even deactivate it. So You just have a big crit damage buff on her all the time. Very nice on Incarnon weapons doing big damage. Now the fourth ability is going to be her massive Steel Path destroying nuke. It's called Rakali's Cavalry. And by the way, this damage type is viral at base on this ability. So she basically just summons these gigantic evil ghost horses. I guess they're not evil technically. These ghost horses that are probably actually very nice. And they just rush forward and deal big viral damage. 30,000 viral damage at base. Of course, scales with power strength. And if an enemy is affected by her second ability, Doom, the horses will actually remove the enemy's armor and shields. So, with enough power strength, about 280% power strength, it's a full armor and shield removal, and just basically a massive nuke. That's what you can kill Acolytes with on the Steel Path, is Rakali's Cavalry. So, the way that her combo works, kind of like a MOBA character a little bit, she's got a combo. Cast 2, cast 1, cast 4. That should take care of a lot of stuff, as you can see right here. And of course, you're going to have that Doom debuff, so they're going to be constantly getting sliced by the damage you hit them with. So, if you just do that combo, 2, 1, 4, you're going to have your Doom debuff everywhere, you're going to have dead enemies everywhere, and you're also going to, technically be getting a crit damage buff the entire time too. Now, as I stated, she does not need weapons. If you do have a ability-focused playstyle, you can kill Steel. I literally did multiple, 20-minute survival missions on Steel Path with not a single weapon kill, basically. So, 2, 1, 4. If you can get used to that, you're going to enjoy this frame quite a bit. As you can see, they just got ran over. And the other enemies that didn't die are also viral procs, so they're going to be dead pretty soon as well. Very powerful frame. This also is not really influenced by a stat stick or anything like that. Man, she just got outright one-shot. These are Steel Path enemies, by the way. So, yeah, big damage, big power. And let's go ahead and show the build as far as what we've modded for. I'm going to show you a special companion build also formed for Dagath as well. So going over the build for Dagath, we really do want a lot of power strength on this build. And we also want, since it's meant for Steel Path endurance runs, we do want to have shield gating. And since we got big shield gating changes in this update, we have a new mod called Catalyzing Shield. If you know what the Decay and Dragon Key meta was before, this is basically just replacing the Decay and Dragon Key. You can do the same thing, but you have to use a mod slot on it now. Thankfully, this build works very well and does cover level 10,000s. So going over what every mod does here, we should definitely talk about Catalyzing Shield. So normally Dagath has 250 shields, some of the lowest shields in the game, and her shield gate is going to be 1.13 seconds if you don't mod for shields. She has extremely low shields because the maximum shield capacity you have now does influence how long your shield gate is. So you literally are getting better shield gate if you put on Catalyzing Shields than if you just didn't have any shield mods on her. Now it's 1.33 with Catalyzing Shields, and we can actually fully shield gate with Brief Respite and just Castar 2 or Castar 4. The first ability is a 25 energy cost, so it's probably not going to work as well. But yeah, so that's the big thing here. This is going to be survivability for level 10,000. We've got Prime Sure-Footed just so we don't get knocked over by any enemies. We've got Prime Continuity. She doesn't need that much duration, but you're going to probably want a little bit just to make sure your Doom debuff lasts for a decent chunk of time. Of course, because remember, it also is going to spread to nearby enemies too. Duration is not going to affect her 3 that much, just influences how long your invincibility time is, and the duration on the fourth ability is just going to affect the duration of the armor removal, so they should just be dead as soon as you cast this, to be honest. And then duration for the first one, the slow duration. Honestly, that should be negative duration. I do not like that slow at all. So yeah, duration is not needed that much. That's why we got Transient Fortitude out here, giving us increased power strength and reduced duration. She's a very energy-hungry frame. You gotta cast a lot of abilities on her. That's why we got Prime Float, massively increasing our energy pool. And since she likes to pick up orbs, we got Equilibrium, and this was actually buffed in this update. Health orbs give energy, and energy orbs give health. This was buffed in this update. Now you can pick up orbs at full health with this active. Umbral Intensify for power strength with no downsides. Rolling Guard while we are, it's technically not necessary, but for level 10,000, I'd never take Rolling Guard off. While we're shield gating, we can do a Rolling Guard to make sure we have time to cast our 4 to get our shield gate back, and it should just be an endless loop of never dying. And then we got Stretch for increased range. This is going to make it where we're going to spread Doom further, and we're also going to be able to, it's basically just for Doom spreading, honestly. The other stuff doesn't really get affected by range very much. So yeah, and as far as Arcanes, you've got Arcane Energize. She's super energy hungry. If you don't want to run Arcane Energize, you're like, oh, you already got Prime Flow and Equilibrium, I'm good, man. You can go with Arcane Eruption, which will knock down enemies when you pick up an energy orb, or you could go for something else. We got Multi-Augmented for more power strength. Once this is fully stacked up, we will have the full armor and defense removal from the fourth ability, and we will also, the damage redirection from Doom is affected by power strength, so this will be 100% damage redirection, and it gets really, really broken, honestly. So that's the build for the frame. Now, going over the new companion build, I'm going to have a full video on this tomorrow, or rather, probably later today. But for the new companion builds, we're going to have something that's very focused on equilibrium here. And we've got a new mod called Tenacious Bond. It's got a lot of stuff going on here. I just like to, and I'll do a deep dive video on this soon, but let's just go ahead and explain how this quickly works. Headshot kills reduce the companion's recovery timer by 3 seconds. If the companion critical chance is over 50%, then you gain 1.2x final critical damage multiplier. So that means if our companion has 50% crit chance, it gives us a crit damage buff. The whole headshot to reduce the companion recovery timer thing is not affected on the Panzer Devolution, so it's only going to be for normal respawn time. So don't worry about that. The first part, Tenacious Bond. The biggest thing here is we're getting increased crit damage from our companion. Okay, I'm gonna have like I said, I'll have a more in-depth video showing some other builds in the companion soon. But the big things here, we got Viral Quills, Panzer Devolution, and Martyr Symbiosis. If we were to die for some reason, our Panzer can sacrifice itself to basically make us not die. And then Tech Assault combined with that, 60% chance that when it sacrifices, it won't actually die, and you can just get a free life. Bite is used to increase our crit chance so we can get this Tenacious Bond mod. And Sharpened Claws will remove enemy armor fully. Not really necessary here. You can take this off for another mod if you'd like to. And Synth Deconstruct. Enemies injured by the companion have a 25% chance to drop a health orb when killed. I'd like to let you know that these bond mods are not actually like one at a time. You can actually run multiple bond mods at a time if that's what you want to do on your build. As you can see, Aerial Bond on there as well as Tenacious Bond. But Sharpened Claws is quite good. So that's what I'm at. We'll have a full video on it, like I said. But yeah, Synth Deconstruct just gives you more health orbs from enemies that are being damaged. So you're going to be able to get more energy from Equilibrium. Prime Animal Instinct to see loot on the map, see enemies on the map. We have built-in enemy radar now in this update, so not as important, but still pretty good. And then Fetch to give us loot vacuum. This is always active, and it's quite nice. As far as the weapons that we use in this level 10,000 footage, we've got the Burston Prime, my first time using it at level 10,000. The Incarnon choices are Forceful Finality, giving increased multi-shot in the final burst of the magazine. Kinetic Battle, giving increased recoil. And Absolute Valor, giving increased crit chance. The build is just a heat build, basically. We've got entirely heat procs, and someone on our team probably had Nourish at certain points, but basically, once the enemy is fully debuffed by Dagath, this will just one-shot most enemies. Well, at least most enemies you're going to see. If you're doing level 10,000, it takes probably 50 bullets, I'd say, per enemy. But, hey, you know what? This thing fires out bullets really fast, so that's okay. The Riven is not necessary. If you don't have a Riven, you just put Prime Shred there, I guess. Or just put another crit mod, I suppose. The entire situation of this build is basically, it's meant for an unarmored enemy that has been viral procced up. For the Epitaph, it's our viral procker of choice. Just throw out some viral procs. Viral and heat, definitely not necessary on here, as she's dealing viral damage with a lot of her abilities too. But yeah, this totally worked out fine. And the Praedos is really just used for a mobility stat stick. We've got increased sprint and slide, and increased parkour velocity. The other stuff really doesn't matter in the slightest. We've got a Shattering Impact, no elementals build. So let's get to that level 10,000 footage. We're also using Matter Eye Focus Tree. Let's get to that level 10,000 footage, and we can, just show how Dagath works in an endurance setting. So, hopping right in, we are on the Zeramon ship doing Steel Path Void Cascade. And just to let you know, I don't think we're at level 10,000 yet, but it's going to be hard to see. It's not intended that you are covered, your screen's covered in blood like that, but yeah, you guys will see basically. That's when you die, you can maybe jump off the ledge to get rid of the blood in your screen, but right now it's not really working. So insta-kill level 1900. Let's get some higher level enemies than this. But yeah, catalyzing shields actually is working out quite well. Here's closer to level 10,000. It was good. We had 2 hydroids. We were testing some stuff out. We had hydroid and Dagath here. So when you do die as Dagath with her third ability, it doesn't actually count as a real death. So you won't lose your multi-augmented stacks. You won't lose your whatever stacks. It's really not that big of a deal. And there's the enemy getting affected by the horse attack. And, quite easy to just mow down these level 4,000 enemies with Dagath. She can definitely, nuke down normal Steel Path enemies with just abilities. When you get to level, multiple thousand, she can kill, around, level 2,000, I'd say, with abilities. But the other stuff's going to probably require Roar. We didn't have Roar active in this footage, unfortunately. So, let's go ahead and show you how that works. That dude is seriously heat procced up. He's going to die when I leave. And I was getting a little bit annoyed in this footage because I felt like some of my teammates were in the other room, but they were on hydroid experimenting with builds. So yeah, she's really good for this. Just use that combo I told you about. Use the second ability, use the first ability, use the fourth ability. That will kill most things in the game that you will see. Not to mention it will just like barrel down an entire hallway. So I would recommend her for level 10,000. Sure, she has a big crit damage buff. She's got, you know, the second ability, which just does a ton of damage. She's got the fourth ability, which does a ton of armor strip and damage. So yeah, as far as like adding her to the arsenal, as far as endurance frames, I think she will be pretty good for it going forward. Just, you know, it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. She's very energy hungry. I'll be honest, I did not use Energize in this footage, and I regretted it massively. When you don't have energy with this frame, you feel completely worthless. So you should probably run Energize in the future. I was able to do level 10,000 with no Energize, but again, wouldn't recommend it. So moving on to like level 10,000. There was a lot. So as you can see, the blood was just all over the screen. I can't see my abilities. I can't see my health bar. I can kind of see my health bar. I can't see the mini map. So I would not recommend this. Hopefully DE fixes this before the next time I do this. But yeah, she can definitely hang with the big dogs level 10,000. She's no Revenant. She's kind of on the same level as Ashe, I'd say, but she doesn't go Invis, so she's not really having as easy of a time as Ashe. You're constantly shield gating. You're constantly debuffing enemies. And, you know, it can definitely get the job done, but hey, you know what? I'm just glad that we have a frame that's endurance viable, and also I'm glad that cataloging shields is working out so well. So going into some actual, like, you know, steel path, you know, nuking situations here, we've got a more normal level steel path mission here with her fourth ability. And yeah, it's really, really good. You make 497,000 damage from just an ability with base damage here. This has no like percent health scaling. It's got none of that. It's got base viral damage, which is good against a lot of different damage or different health types. It's got you know, pretty massive hitbox. You're using the Doom ability to make them, you know, take more damage if they didn't die from the initial hit. And not to mention, they're also spreading that Doom debuff to nearby enemies as well. So I'm really, really liking her. So basically what her goal or what her role is in the game is she's a debuff nuker, I guess I'd say. Kind of similar to Sevagoth, but think of Sevagoth, if people remember Sevagoth besides just his glue. Her fourth ability is going to be very, very strong at 30,000 damage at base. And then, of course, it scales with power strength. You got any viral procs on them. As far as Helminth abilities, I did not put any Helminth abilities on her for this video. This is a no Helminth setup here. But as far as Helminth abilities, you can easily replace her one. As you know, spreading the Doom debuff is really nice, but not entirely necessary. And the slow from word scythes could just be super annoying sometimes, honestly. I try to not show anything like that in the video, but yeah, those Thrax get so slowed down. They don't even turn to a ghost anytime soon. So you can throw Roar on her one. You can throw Breach Surge on her one. You can throw Nourish on her one to fix the energy issues. I mean, the list goes on. I wouldn't say you really need an armor removal on her because her fourth ability can do that, but hey, maybe you don't like the fourth ability for some reason. We've also got a bunch of Archon shards on here too. We've got 2 Tau Archon shards for casting speed, and we've got 3 Archon Tau shard crimsons for power strength. Now, I will let you know, as far as min-maxing the build further, you need 280% power strength for the full defense strip, so we're a little bit overkill on power strength. If you factor in Molt Augmented, I think we're about like 20 power strength over, so you could take off one of those Archon Tau shards for a duration one if you wanted to. You could go for a blue shard for energy max. You could go for, I mean, it's really up to you. You want parkour, you want more casting speed even. Be my guest. She has good customization, and I mean, the whole, like, you know, full armor strip thing is not entirely needed in the first place, so I say to your personal taste, but yes, she just wants some certain amount of breakpoints. 280% strength is quite nice. So that's basically it for the video, guys. First impressions of her, very, very good. I've heard some other creators saying she's kind of bad, which I'm surprised by. While they were saying she was bad, I was literally fighting level 10,000 enemies with her, so oh well. To each their own. Let's go ahead and show the combo one more time real quick, just how you do this. So just to show how this works, you jump in there, you engage with your 2, press 1, and then press 4. That's going to barrel over a lot of enemies in this game. It's going to one-shot Steel Path Eximus. It can potentially one-shot Steel Path Acolytes. And, I mean, we're doing 260,000 damage with just with just a fourth ability. Like, it's quite nice. So, like, that crit damage buff, I'm not even going over the crit damage buff that much. It is a crit damage buff for all weapons. So, on Incarnon weapons, it can be really, really nasty. So, one burst, you know, insta-kill, basically. So if this looks good to you, you can go get her from your clan dojo. She's actually quite easy to farm in my opinion. That was a 1.4 million damage with Dagath's 4, just saying. The highest I've seen so far is about 6 million, and that was with, I have not used Roar at all on her today, guys, so she's just going to get more and more powerful as we experiment more. But yeah, I'd say she's safe to go farm, she's safe to go buy. If you enjoyed a debuffer frame like this and a nuker frame, this is, I'm enjoying her quite a bit, so I'll play her a lot more going forward. That's basically it for the video. I'll see you with the hydroid video soon. I'll see you with the companion rework video soon, and I appreciate all the support, guys. I'll see you next time. Appreciate it. Bye!